Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. Now, when I was making yesterday's video, I noticed a very interesting trend. If we have a look at adamantite ore on GE Tracker, we can see that the price has plummeted over the last couple of months, and more specifically, the last month, going from 1,000 down to currently it's 800. However, what's really interesting is the price of adamant bars hasn't dropped. Most likely it's stuck at this price because of the alchemy value of the things that you can make out of the adamant bars. And if we look back over 3 months, yes, the price has dropped a bit, but not nearly as much as the adamant ore. Now, essentially what that means is creating adamant bars is going to be extremely profitable. And even just going over to the wiki and having a look at it quickly is showing a 1.9 mil hourly profit, which is really good for a skilling method essentially. And you'll also get around 100,000 XP an hour in smithing, which is just so good. In its current state, I think smithing adamant bars is actually better money per hour than Zulrah. There is a skilling method that is more money per hour than Zulrah. That is just, you never say that. So today I'm going to be showing you how to do it and just testing if that amount of money is actually indeed possible. I hope you enjoyed the video and let's get started. Now, there are a few requirements for this method, but really not that bad considering how much money you could potentially make. Now, first up here, I just want to say that adamantite is not the only bar right now that is more profitable than normal. Runite is pushing 2 mil an hour, and mithril is around 1.2 or 1.3 mil an hour. All of them have very good hourly profits. It's really going to come down to what your smithing level is, and we can see a pretty similar trend between all of the ores. Adamantite going from 1250 back in September down to 800, probably the most significant drop. Mithril going from 142 down to 110, and runite going from 11.5k down to 10.8k. Now for adamant bars, you're going to need around 3.5 mil to start doing this. You can do it with less, however, you won't be able to do it for a full hour. What you're going to need is around 2.5 to 3k adamant ore, and we're going to buy 2750, just split the difference. Instantly bought it for a price of 812. You're going to need 3 times that amount in coal. So if you do plan on doing this for a long period of time, you may want to consider buying coal in advance, because it is possible to hit the buying limit for it. As if you did this method for 4 hours straight, you need potentially 30,000 or more coal during that time period. And the most that the GE would let you buy is 13,000, so you'd be short by quite a bit. So 3 times 2750 is 8,250. You're going to need around 100,000 GP coins just to run the blast furnace, and maybe around 10 stamina potions, more or less, and that's pretty much the perfect amount of money. Now, as far as equipment, you're going to want full graceful minus the glove slot, which you'll want ice gloves. If you haven't started Heroes Quest, it's not a big deal. You can actually get them without starting the quest. So if you are a skiller, you should be able to do this method still. So for adamant bars, you're going to need 70 smithing. For mithril, you only need 50. However, I would recommend you get at least 60 smithing. And for runite, you'll need 85. I would highly recommend that you get the coal bag. It's going to increase your XP per hour and your GP per hour by a significant amount. Definitely worth getting before you get started. And the final requirement is the giant dwarf quest. However, you don't really need to complete it. You just need to start it, which means you don't really need most of the requirements. And that is it. Pretty low requirements overall. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so we are at the blast furnace, and there's a few different things that you can do to make this a little bit easier. Now, if you do have rune light, you can turn on the hitboxes for the blast furnace. It is under the blast furnace plugin. You can see it's possible to turn them on and off. I definitely like them on just because it gives you more accurate clicking. I would also double check to see if your shift click for the coal bag is empty. I'm pretty sure that is a default client feature. However, if it really isn't correct, you can go over here to inventory and configure shift click, at which point you can change it to empty. Just make sure you right click in your inventory after and hit save. That way, whenever you hit shift click, it will be empty and regular click will be fill. Beyond that, all you should need is your graceful, ice gloves, and all of your required items in the bank. So I personally like to zoom out a fair bit, and I also like facing to the east. I just find I can get the bank and the blast furnace in the same screen. It makes things a lot easier. Now, there's a few different ways to do this, and some are maybe marginally more efficient than others, but really I have found that it's better to do what you find the easiest, because you're less likely to mess up your clicks and mess up the method. So essentially what you need to do is you need to get 1 inventory of adamant and 3 inventories of coal to make an adamant bar. Now, 2 more quality of life features that are going to help out a lot. First up here, make sure you have the all feature selected down here, and in your F keys options, you want to make sure that escape will close your interface with the selection down here. Now, first up here, I'm going to show you the most straightforward way to do it. Okay, first up here, we want to withdraw a full inventory of coal, hit the exit key. We're going to left click the coal bag to fill it up. We're going to go back to the bank quickly, withdraw another inventory of coal, and now we're going to click on the conveyor belt down here. It'll automatically close the interface, and we're going to run over there. From here, we want to hold shift and hover over the coal bag, which is going to empty it, and we're going to chuck that inventory in too and run back to the bank. Now nothing should happen because all we put in is coal. From here we want to withdraw another inventory of coal, exit, fill the coal bag, enter the bank again, and then we're going to withdraw adamant. From here we're going to run back to the blast furnace again. We're going to empty the coal, put the coal in, and now we've done a full run. We should have 27 adamant bars coming out of here. Since you have the ice gloves on, you can just left click on the bar dispenser, hit spacebar, you're going to withdraw the bars, and then we're going to go ahead and bank them. So that was a very slow-mo version of it. Now one minor variant of that is I think actually a slight bit quicker is actually to withdraw an inventory of coal and an inventory of adamant first as opposed to last. Now the reason that this is slightly quicker in my opinion is you may have noticed during the other method that I actually had to wait at the bar dispenser for an extra second, and that is because we had to wait for 2 individual experience drops. However, this way you notice that one has already happened. That's because there was already coal and adamant in the blast furnace. And this way, when we run down here, we'll just have to wait for 1 XP drop and we'll automatically be able to pick it up and run, which is going to be just a little bit quicker. And on top of that, there's even another method. I'm not really sure if it's any better or not, but it's an option. So first up, we're going to withdraw an inventory of coal and an inventory of adamant. We're going to chuck that into the blast furnace, and then instead of doing 1 inventory of coal and picking it up, we're going to do 2 more. So here's 1 inventory of coal, and then instead of picking it up, we're going to go ahead and do another inventory of coal. Now once we've gone ahead and dropped that coal, we're going to pick up our bars, and then we're going to go get 1 more inventory of adamant and 1 more inventory of coal. I'm not really sure if this one's actually any better. It definitely is a little more confusing, so for that reason I may not recommend it, even if it is a tick or 2 quicker. So those are your options. I'd probably recommend the second method personally, but either way they should be giving you around 100,000 plus or minus experience every hour. So let's go ahead and finish up the hour and see how much money we're actually going to make. Okay, so I'm just finishing up the hour right now, and it went pretty well. And while I didn't manage to get 100,000 XP an hour, that's kind of like peak performance, I did manage to stick around 90. Now the main reason that my experience rates were slightly lower is mainly just from small little mistakes. One of the biggest ones is accidentally putting too much adamant ore into the belt. That's a big one that happens fairly frequently if you're not paying attention. And okay, we're actually running out of ore here, so things are going to be a little messed up. And the second most common thing is to accidentally run around this way if you're actually clicking around too much like a madman. Your character will run this way. And the third thing that can be messed up is your run energy. So as far as my tips, definitely take your time. This method is moderately click intensive, but that doesn't need to be more click intensive. You might as well pay attention, make sure you click correctly. So I finished the hour at around 90,000 XP per hour, which is fairly good. Could be a little bit better, but I'm reasonably happy with that. So it took slightly over an hour to do 2,750 adamant bars. Let's go ahead and price check that and see how much money we ended up making. Keeping in mind that we invested around 3.5 mil, we probably have around 100K left over, as we still have a bit of money in the coffer. All right, so we invested 3.5 mil and we got in return 5.3 mil. That is a huge profit of around 1.8 million GP. That is actually just so damn good. We'll just insta sell them to see how much. We got 5310 back. Well, I am very happy with that. Smithing is now one of the most profitable money-making methods in the game, bordering on the best skilling method, close to rune crafting obviously. But yeah, definitely worth going ahead and leveling up your smithing right now if you're into it. Whether you do runite, adamant, mithril, or even steel, all of them are quite a bit more profitable now than they've been in the past. Highly recommend. And once again, if you are looking for a clan chat to join, come hang out. If you want to discuss flipping, RuneScape, or really anything, come stop by and have a chat. I'll be hanging out there on my 3 accounts potentially. Single Upgrade, Dream Flipper, or FlippingOSRS. Anyway guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, I would appreciate it if you left the video a like, and I will see you next time.